Hello and welcome to Toy Chest Central, episode numero uno. Toy Chest Central is something that I created because I love toys and I want to share my love of toys with everyone. We're talking toys, statues, collectibles, action figures, play sets, everything you can think of. My name is TJ Deach. Right now I'm a freelance writer. I write about everything from movies to TV, video games, all that kind of stuff. But I used to be an editor over at Toy Fair magazine. I've been able to make a career out of following the toy industry, and it's something that I enjoy a lot, and I like sharing my love of that with you. The episode today is going to be broken down into a few parts. First off, we've got the Week in Toys, which is all the new releases, either things that have come out or news that has come out about toys and statues. We've got everything from Mattel. They've got a new wave of wrestling figure legends coming out that are pretty cool, to like Sideshow's most expensive statue that I've ever personally seen. You'll have to watch the show to find out what that is. We've also got Out of the Toy Chest, which is a look at older toy lines from my collection. In the future, I'd like to include your guys' collections. You can email me pictures at toychestcentral@gmail.com. You could also email me with suggestions for the show. I mean, I'm really kind of just getting started and trying to figure out what works and doesn't, so please give me any feedback you can. And the last segment is going to be called Toys on the Move, which is a look at toys in movies and TV, video games, pretty much everything that's not an actual toy. So without further ado, let's get right into the show. Hello and welcome to the Week in Toys. We had a big week this week with lots and lots of toys and statues coming out. Mattel released images of the WWE Legends Series 2, which includes guys like Terry Funk, Ravishing Rick Rude, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Kamala, and the Iron Sheik. I actually got to see the Iron Sheik one time at a local comic convention. That dude's nuts. But these toys are really cool. I was never really into WWE, or as it was known back when I was a kid, WWF, but I still remember these characters, and so it's cool to see them getting another look from Mattel, who's only had the license since January or earlier this year after they got it from Jax. So those are cool. Those are coming out this fall. They might be getting into stores soon. It's hard to tell sometimes with the waves that are sold to big stores like Walmart and Toys R Us and Target, because the companies don't have control in when they actually get to the stores and get on shelves. But you can, of course, always go to online stores like Entertainment Earth, that kind of thing, and buy the whole wave, and it'll just ship to you when they get it. In other news, Koto Bukiya, who has had this line of statues called Bushujo, it's usually Bushujo x Marvel, but now they're actually doing DC statues as well. It kind of takes American superheroes and gives them kind of a sexy Japanese stylistic design to them. There's been a lot in the Marvel series, like I've said. The two new pieces they revealed were Psylocke and Emma Frost, both from the X-Men. They both look really cool, and they do kind of have that cool, like, sexy pose thing going on. Koto also released the first Bushujo X DC statue, which is Batgirl, as you might expect. She's kind of the number one superhero, and besides Wonder Woman, that people would know about. And she's got that great look, and they go the classic blue and gray and yellow costume, which is pretty cool. Those will be out. They kind of trickle in from Japan when they can. But you can probably get them in collectible stores later this year. Another news, NECA, who revealed some very cool images on their TwitPic account, which you can see right here on Twitter, released an image of the Elder Predator from Predators. Now, again, I haven't seen this movie yet. It seems to kind of have been dropped from theaters, which is too bad, and I didn't go see it right away. But all Predators look cool. That's just a fact, and this toy looks cool. NECA also released, this time on their website, a image of Machete. That's the new Danny Trejo movie coming out on September 3rd, which is this upcoming Friday. It's got tons of guest stars in it, Lindsay Lohan's in this thing, Don Johnson, Cheech Marin, Al Pacino, all these different people are going to be in it. It looks like a real badass, kick-ass action movie. Hopefully I'll be able to go see it when it comes out. Anyway, NECA released a figure of Machete. He's a 7-inch tall figure. Doesn't look super posable. Looks to be more one of NECA's more statue-like figures, but has a really cool pose with the knives ready to go. And of course, they paid good detail to his chest and the leather he wears and all that. The movie looks sick. The toy looks great. The figure will come out after the movie sometime later in September. You can buy it in your local collectible comic book store or whatever. I believe they also sell in Toys R Us, and NECA has an Amazon storefront, which again will be right here if you want to go and buy that later in the month. Another big upcoming entertainment news that is being reflected in toys, Halo Reach is coming out on September 14th. Everybody's really excited to see what is going on in this Halo prequel. I'm excited. Hopefully I'll be able to get a copy and play with my friends online again. We love shooting the crap out of each other. But I hate playing with, teenagers who... No, not even teenagers. Children who beat the crap out of me and then swear at me. I don't need that. Anyway, Square Enix has a new series of Halo Reach figures coming out. And they're super posable as per usual from Square Enix. The first three images that we've seen so far are of Noble Six, who's supposed to be the main character, Emil, and Jun. Again, these are coming out in fall, so you should be able to get your hands on them fairly soon. Probably again after the game comes out, but that'll be great because by then you'll actually know who they are and see if you actually want to put them on your shelf along with all your other superposable Square Enix toys, or video game toys, or movie toys, or whatever you want. Medicom is coming out with Jango Fett and Boba Fett figures that they're adding to their Real Action Hero line, which is a line of 12-inch figures based on movies and entertainment. Of course, the two Mandalorian bounty hunters from the Star Wars movies will come with all of their guns and jetpacks and clothes and helmets and all that, which is super cool. Very excited. Also from Medicom, their Bear Brick line of couple-inch tall bear-themed vinyl-type toys that they paint to look like other characters from other movies and TV shows and mediums. They are adding C-3PO and R2-D2 to that line, so that's going to be a lot of fun. In other 12-inch movie toy news, Hot Toys released images this week of Colonel Hans Landa from Inglourious Basterds. Now this is Christoph Waltz. Anyone who saw Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds last year knows that Waltz was one of the main reasons this movie was so intense. I mean, he was just... Instead of fight scenes, he had talking action scenes. They were amazing. Equally amazing is this figure, which captures every instance of him and comes with all the accessories that you would expect the figure to come with. We also got word through Sideshow, who releases Hot Toys figures in the States and sells them, that there will be an Enter the Dragon Bruce Lee figure. Since this version is from later in the film during his fight, he doesn't have a shirt on, he's got the claw marks across his chest. Meanwhile, Diamond Select Toys had a huge week of announcements. Again, they do most of these on their Art Asylum blog, which you should totally check out, and you can keep up on all the news. Although you should still, of course, come back here and hear me talk about it as well. First up, they released images of 3 upcoming Star Trek 2-packs it's called the Dilithium Crystal series. And we've got Where No Man Has Gone, Kirk and Spock in one 2-pack. And then you've got Arena, Gorn and Kirk. And then in the other one is the Enterprise Incident with Romulan, Kirk, and Spock. I'm not that familiar with Star Trek. I know it's embarrassing. I was watching it on Netflix, actually instant Netflix for a while, but then they took it away, so I can't watch it anymore. But hopefully it'll come back, or someone will let me borrow the DVDs. I got kind of far into the first season. But anyway, these figures look cool. I don't know if you know this, but Diamond got the Universal Studios Monsters license a little while back. And what they're doing with it, instead of rolling figures out whenever, they're doing them around Halloween every year, or so they'll be available around that time. So they'll come out before Halloween and then kind of go away until the next Halloween. So these are, Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera, all those kinds of movies. But they're not just doing one kind of figure, they're actually doing all kinds of different figures. You'll see Universal Monsters Select, which are kind of like the Marvel Select figures, so those will be more 6-inch. You're going to see more retro cloth entries in the line, and my personal favorite, and as you might be able to see right here, Mini-Mates. I love these movies. I haven't seen them all, but I love the characters, I love the designs, and what they showed on the website this week were the Creature from the Black Lagoon and Wolfman 4-packs. Now the Creature set comes with 2 creature figures. One is regular green, and then the other one is a glow-in-the-dark figure. And then you've got Dr. Reed and Kay Lawrence to kind of fill it out. And then the Wolfman series, you get Larry Talbot before he turns into the wolf. Then you get kind of a mid-transformation Wolfman, and then you get a full-on Wolfman along with Gwen Canliff, of course the starlet of the movie. We haven't seen the accessories that come with these yet, but the figures themselves look awesome, and these 4-packs tend to come with lots of different, costume changes or accessories from the movies or TV shows, whatever they're based on, or comics, and they look awesome. I'm excited. These come out, of course, this fall. The other Mini-Mates that we got to look at are the Ghostbusters We're Ready to Believe in You 4-pack, which has Ray, Peter, and Egon in their blue lab coats as they looked in the commercial from Ghostbusters 1. The 4th figure in that set is Dana. She's supposed to look possessed, and you can see in the picture she's got one outfit and a jacket, and it says that there will be another outfit. We don't know what that other outfit is yet, but we'll see. Again, they are known for doing awesome add-ons, so can't wait to see what those look like. Sideshow came out with a number of pre-orders, as they always do, from Marvel, Terminator 2, Star Wars, and Transformers. From Marvel, they've got the Rhino life-size bust, the Rhino, of course, being the Spider-Man villain. And these life-size busts, it really means what it says. It's supposed to be from here up of the character. So in this case, the Rhino is going to be 17 by 22 by 13, which, as you can see in this picture, compared to the Spider-Man, he's actually that much bigger, which is pretty cool. It's awesome that they keep that kind of scale on statues like that. They also revealed this amazing Optimus Prime statue from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Now, it wasn't that great of a movie, but I still like the designs of the Transformers themselves, and I think that they translated really well to film that way. Probably wouldn't have done so well if it was the old designs. I know that's not a very popular opinion, but that's just the way I think. Anyway, this is a gigantic statue. 24 inches by 17 by 19. If you get the Sideshow exclusive version, it comes with an Energon sword that, I gotta say, really makes the statue. Otherwise, it's just kind of standing there. It's still cool, but with the sword, it looks that much better. The Sideshow edition is only limited to 100, so you should jump on and order right now if you're interested. Though I will warn you, it's a very expensive statue. It is right now costing $1,199.99. I believe that's just the regular version, and usually the Sideshow version, exclusive version, is a little bit more expensive, so you should check on that. You can go to Sideshow's website and order from there this or any of the other statues that we're talking about. Like the Star Wars Fall of the Empire statue. Now this is one that really plays up to my likes. It is from the final battle in Return of the Jedi. You've got a stormtrooper being attacked by 2 Ewoks. I like it because back in my days at Toy Fair, we loved writing the strips with the Troopers, which was a group of 4 different stormtroopers that was created well before I got there and is going on long after. But we liked the stormtroopers because you can't see any emotion, so whatever they're feeling, you don't know, and you can kind of put that into their words. And that's what I like about this statue, is that he's being attacked, but he just looks like a stormtrooper, and he should be scared or terrified, or maybe laughing because he's being attacked by teddy bears, but he just looks like a stormtrooper. Anyway, I like the Ewoks. Again, I'm very contrarian today, I guess. to popular geek opinion. But I like the Ewoks, I like this statue. And finally, literally the biggest collectible revealed this week, as far as I know, is the Sideshow Terminator 2 Judgment Day T-800 Exoskeleton version 2.0. Now this thing is life-size from the movie. It's made out of a combination of polystone, different metals, and it's tall. I didn't do the conversion on it because I'm kind of lazy, but maybe someone else can do it, or I'll just run it along here because I won't be lazy later. But the measurements on this thing are 77 inches by 38 by 53. Comes with a blaster. This thing looks amazing, but as you might expect, something like that is not cheap. It's right now on Sideshow's website for $5,999.99. So if you got an extra $6,000 plus, I would imagine shipping on something like that is not cheap. Buy yourself a Terminator. And with that, you have the week in toys. Alright, welcome to the very first installment of Out of the Toy Chest. This is a look at vintage lines of figures that are dear to my heart and probably yours as well. I'm 27 right now. I grew up completely in the 80s with He-Man and Masters of the Universe, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, and Silverhawks. Now, some of you might not be as familiar with Silverhawks as some of those other shows I mentioned, but it was created by the people who did Thundercats. You'll notice if you look at the credits, there's a lot of the same actors, voice actors and writers who worked on the show, and it has kind of a similar feel, and not just because it's an adjective followed by a kind of animal. The premise is that a kind of a space chief of police by the name of Colonel Stargazer, who is kind of a cyborg, I guess, but he wears a shirt and tie, brings together this team called the Silverhawks. Now they are, I think they're bionic, one of them's a robot. Basically they're covered in metal and they can fly around through space and fight bad guys, and they've got bird kind of sidekicks. So, obviously, as you might be able to tell, that was perfect for a kid because space is awesome, flying is awesome, metal is awesome, and the toys that came out to support this line were awesome. Now, the Silverhawks, which were made up of guys like Quicksilver, Bluegrass, Steelheart, and Steel Will, went up against Monstar, who was the main bad guy, and his villains like Mumbo Jumbo, Molecular, Buzzsaw, Time Stopper, and guys like that. Now, each character had their own, unique design. Of course, the Silverhawks themselves had different colored metals covering their bodies. But most of the Silverhawk figures had the same action feature, which is when you squeeze their legs together, their arms pop up like this, and they've got cloth here under their arms, which you will see in this right here. The problem with that, though, was that, at least in my experience, those toys tend to break a lot. The wings fell off. This one is from the Copper Kid, who I always thought was a robot, but he might just be an alien. He just kind of talks in like a robotic tone on the show. I remember getting a few different of the main Silverhawks, not Bluegrass, I'll get to him in a second, who would break. Either their arms would break, or their legs would break, or the wings would come off, and we would either take them back or throw it away. But on the other hand, the villains held up much better. And as you can see in these videos, for the most part, they kept their action features. Monstar has, you squeeze his legs, and he's got his torso and back split open like this, and a head flips around. So he goes from kind of like a pirate-looking dude to this spiky-looking guy. Mine, the joint wore off, probably because I played with it so much. So the chest actually shoots off, but the head does flip from normal to regular, but not from regular to spiky hair, but not backwards. Which it probably never did, but I thought it did for some reason. Also, you've got Buzzsaw, who was cool because even though he looks like really stiff and robotic, he still has knee and hip joints. So he can move that way, and then his arms move up and down like this. They've got spinning blades around the wrist, and when you pull his head up and push it down, the shoulder blades, the shoulder blades spin around, and it's just a really cool effect. It's kind of hard to do that while playing with other toys, but I've always been a fan of it. It looks cool, it's fun. I don't still have him, but I remember Molecular was cool because he was kind of made up of like spheres, and you could pop his, I believe, arms off and put other accessories on. That was always cool. And finally, Mumbo Jumbo was kind of I don't know why they call him that. He's a bull man of some kind, and not only does his head push, he's got like a long neck that pushes down into his torso. So when you squeeze his legs together, the head comes up like this with the horns. I'm missing one horn on mine, but you know, they are all 20-year-old, 30-year-old toys almost. Ooh, that makes me feel old. But anyway, once his head pops up, then you squeeze the legs some more, and his head moves up and down, which is pretty cool. He'd be perfect if you were working on some kind of like stop motion toy thing, because it looks like he's talking, which is cool. Somehow I completely forgot to mention Bluegrass in greater detail. He was my favorite Silverhawk because, for one thing, he didn't break like the other ones did. He does not have the wings underneath his arms, so that wasn't an issue. He does, however, come with the guitar bird friend you can see here. I also forgot to mention the birds more clearly. They each had their own little tiny action feature that also came with the figures and were pretty cool. But his, as you can see, is both a guitar, and then it can slide on to a slot he has on his back that was spring-loaded, and that acts as his wings, at least for play value. I don't remember how it worked on the show, but that is how I played with him. I believe you can squeeze his legs and the bird would shoot off, but I'm not sure on that. Again, this is an older toy, and so it doesn't quite work how it used to, but he was always a lot of fun to play with, and as you can see by the worn off paint, I played with him quite a bit. See there, the legs don't quite work anymore, but look how dapper he looks all together. So there you have it. That's my collection of Silverhawks. I assume you guys have some. If you want to send me your pictures or suggest another toy line to use for Out of the Toy Chest, drop me an email at toychestcentral@gmail.com. You can email me anything there, and I will try and get back to you and answer questions or show off fan collections, whatever, on the site. So if you've got Silverhawks you want to show off that I didn't mention, please send me pictures, because that would be really cool to add in the next show. Other collections, you know, if you've got cool photos of anything or just suggestions, I've got a pretty deep toy library, but I definitely don't have everything. So that's it for Out of the Toy Chest. Alright, welcome to Toys on the Move, your look at everything toys, from movies to video games, comic books, that kind of thing. Anything that's not an actual toy is a toy on the move. Last week, Boom released Toy Story Mysterious Stranger. Now, this is a hardcover collection of some of the Toy Story comics they've done, written by Dan Jolly. The main plot of this story revolves around the toys trying to help Andy out. He's having some trouble with the science fair project at the science fair, so they try and go and help incognito, of course. I haven't read any of the Boom stuff, but I've heard that all of the Disney comics, the Muppets, and Fraggle Rock, all that stuff is pretty good, so this sounds like a pretty good place to start checking it out. In other news, this is kind of weird. It's definitely rumor type stuff. A website called The Wrap got an email from somebody who works at Paramount. Now, this isn't an official Paramount email, but it had kind of a rundown of the status of a lot of different movies. You know, pretty much the title and then a sentence or two about what's going on. There were 4 that kind of fit into the Toy Chest Central focus, and so I figured I would let you know what those were about. You can go to the website right here and check out the entire thing. First up, they had a G.I. Joe 2 note, and it said that they are very happy with the Reese and Wernick draft. Now, I don't know who they are, maybe Hasbro, maybe the studio, and that they think that there's a good chance that Stephen Sommers will come back to direct the sequel. I was kind of lukewarm on the first movie. It didn't really do anything for me, but I didn't really find it that offensive. Again, I'm not a purist when it comes to this stuff, though I do think that they could easily have done a more in-canon G.I. Joe movie that still would have been awesome and less ridiculous. The fact that everybody knew each other in the movie was kind of like ridiculous, I guess. Another note was on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I don't know if this is a live action or a cartoon movie, or CGI, or what any of the details are, but it said that the Fusco draft was not very good, and they're looking around for another writer. So that means, I'm assuming, if it's all true, again, all these are rumor, this is an email, this could be rumors or speculation, we don't even really know when the email was sent, that if it is true, it would push a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie back. Another toy property movie, Max Steel, which was originally supposed to have Taylor Lautner in it. The email says Taylor Lautner's attached, though I've read on Slash Film that he is no longer involved in the movie. The quote that I thought was most telling, and is, half the entry, is, feels like it has lost momentum. This doesn't surprise me. I mean, Max Steel isn't a character that anybody really has, a strong feeling towards that I've ever talked to. And finally, they commented on the Hasbro Factory movie. Now this is, as the email points out, supposed to be kind of a night at the museum in a toy factory. So expect to see a lot of different Hasbro toys coming to life. I mean, they own G.I. Joe and Transformers, so you can see some of those. I mean, they own a ton of more kid-oriented properties, and I would assume the direction they're heading with this movie. But it could still be fun to watch and check out to see what other characters, that we remember from when we were kids, or that, the next generation knows from now will be showing up. So, I know a lot of people have been kind of like lambasting that idea online. The email says that they are getting pitches from writers to see who's got the best take on it. Maybe I'll submit one. But anyway, that's kind of, again, rumor mill, speculation, emails that weren't supposed to go public. We all kind of deal with these things in or whatever our jobs are. So take it for what it's worth. I think that the G.I. Joe movie, the second movie, will be the most obvious thing to come out soon, though I have heard that they're working on this Hasbro Factory one. But, I mean, if they don't have a script yet, then they're probably not even nearly close to putting it together. So, that's all we have for Toys on the Move. I'll see you next week.